So, it's 8 o'clock in the morning, maybe 8 something. I'm taking a nap before I gotta go to work at 10 o'clock. I'm sleeping, and then boom. Total darkness, I don't see anything. I wake up in a grassland with white fence around the whole thing. It's technically like a farm, you could say. And the landscape is just beautiful, just magnificent. So I'm sitting next to this car. I think it's a Honda. There's 3 girls in the car. One in the passenger seat, one sitting on the headrest, I don't know why, and one sitting in the driver's seat. Their hood is up. There's something wrong with their car. I don't know what's wrong with their car. So we're trying to get them to go to this Christian concert with us, and they don't want to go. So my man goes to the front of the car. They don't see him. I think he takes like the water pump or something. He like pulls it out. So they're getting ready to go, and they start the car, and like water, steam, and all this jazz comes out. And they're like, oh my gosh, we can't go where we wanted. We're like, yes, plan was a success. So we take them to one of the fences, and we're signing them up on like a list or whatever. We're signing them up for the concert and whatnot. And while I'm signing them up, I look into the grassland, and the landscape, like I said, is beautiful. I'm looking afar, and I see this huge Roman foot. It's about like 50 feet high. It's the type of Roman foot as in the movie Troy, or Gladiators, where they have like the sandal on their foot, and they have the shoelace tied around their whole leg. It was that type of foot. It was about like 50 feet high and about like 50 yards away from me, but it was like enormous. I look back, and I'm looking in like amazement, like a double take, so to speak. I'm like, man, what is that? And when I'm looking back, Kirk Franklin, weird, he's driving a car and he's going past us. And I say to myself, man, I get hype every time I see that guy. And I look back at the field, and I see Jesus Christ in the flesh. I see his face, but I only see from here, the top of his head, to only about his chest maybe. So I don't see the whole body. I see the top of the head to about his chest. And the same height I was looking at the Roman foot is the same height I was looking at him. And he's singing Kirk Franklin's song Stomp. And there's a part in the song where it's like, GP, are you with me? And everybody's like, oh yeah, we got the church thing going, oh yeah. And Jesus is singing this song, and I'm so amazed at like, how do you know that song? Obviously he would know the song, but I'm like in amazement, like, how does he know this song? It's so weird. And he was so geeked about it. And side note, as real as you can see my face on this, is as real as I saw his face. That's as vivid as I saw Jesus' face. As vivid as you're looking at my face right now. He had the resurrection, when he got crucified, he had the thorn crown on his head. I saw that. There was like a white aura in the back. It was beautiful. I can still see his face. I want to say he had brown hair. I think it was kind of long. And he had a decent smile. And his complexion was about mine, but a little bit darker. It wasn't white. His complexion was mine. I am light-skinned. His complexion was a little bit darker than mine. If I could draw, I could draw him right now, but I can't draw. But I see his face as vivid as you're looking at mine right now. So, at this moment, I'm like, why is he singing? This is so weird. So, it comes back to me, and I look down, and I look to my left. Now Kirk Franklin is standing to my left, and at this moment, the whole screen turns moody blue. It's just blue out of nowhere. Like, it's not crazy blue, like where it's like, oh my gosh, this is, but it's comforting moody blue. I understood what the scenery meant, what the color meant. And Kirk Franklin says maybe about 2 words. He has his arms folded, and he just says, my brother. He doesn't look at me, he just says, my brother. And his mouth is muted. I can only see him talking, but there's no noise coming out of his mouth. I just see his lips moving, and it was crazy. And he just says that. And he's not even looking at me. He's just looking with his head slightly bent down. He just says, my brother. And from there, it's just quiet. But his lips are moving. I want to say he's praying. So I'm at a first person view of myself. I'm looking down at myself. And I start to raise my hands. I'm praying to myself. And I start to raise my hands. And you guys know how you have movie borders in movies? Like for instance, like Dark Knight, all the Batman movies, the borders, there's black borders in there in that movie. That's how it was at this point. So when I was lifting my hands, the border would close, as if at the end of a show, like a play show, and the curtains, they close. It was like that. So when I get my hands to the top, the curtains close. So the borders, they come to a complete end, and it's dark. So I'm lifting my hands, and when I get about halfway, I feel the most caressing, touching grip ever. I felt either God or Jesus' hands grab my forearm. As real as you can see my forearm right here, and as real as you can see my 5 fingers right here, as real as you can see this, and as real as I'm touching myself, if you want to, I know it's weird, go ahead and touch your own forearm. As real as you're doing that, that is as real as I was able to touch this forearm. That's as real as I felt the touch. I felt 10 fingers grab my forearm right here, grab it this way, caress it, perfect grip ever. Grab it this way. And it wasn't alarming, it was like helping. Grab both of my forearms, I get halfway, and while I'm lifting my hands, I'm just praying, and I have no control. When I get halfway, I have no control under my arms anymore. And while my hands are lifting, like I said, the borders are closing. So by the time my hands get all the way up, which I have no control, the borders close. Then it's complete darkness, just like it was in the beginning. Now, in earth, the real world down here, I am asleep in my bed. I have one hand underneath my pillow, and I have one hand underneath my leg, or in between my legs. So I'm sleeping in a position like this, laying down, and I have one hand underneath, in between my legs. Now, I go from this position, having my hands up, and God or Jesus takes my body out of that realm I was in. He takes me from this position, how I'm like this, and he takes my forearms, my whole body, and he places me in the same position like I'm laying down. So at this point where I'm laying down like this, I can still feel the grip from me laying like this, and the other grip from me laying where my hands were between my legs. I still felt the grip as if I'm touching myself. As real as me doing this and touching, that's as real as the grip was. It was that real, as if somebody was touching me, as if you're touching yourself right now. That's how real it was. I'm in this position and I'm amazed. I'm like, how did that even happen? I could feel him take me from that realm and bring me back to this realm, this earth, and place me perfectly. And I felt it. And I have allergies, so I can't breathe through my nose all the time. I breathe the majority throughout my mouth. So I made like a little cough noise, like and when I made that noise, I felt all of this, all of the hands, the finger, all the fingers, every bit of this, I felt him release his grip and move away from me. And then I wake up. That's it. That's how real my encounter was with God. For me to feel his touch and bring me into one realm and put me back where I was from the beginning. And for him to let me to be able to see Jesus Christ's face as real as you're seeing mine right now. Amazing. Like phenomenal. For people who don't believe in God, this is my story for you. For people who do believe in God, this is my story for you. For people who don't think God is there, this is my story for you. This is my story for anybody who is following Christ, who's not following Christ, who think God is not there. For people who, God's not tangible. That's as tangible as I need. The brother touched both of my forearms, had me in one realm, and put me back where I was, and didn't do it by harming me. I felt it as real as I'm touching myself right now. God loves you. I'm sharing this testimony because I believe He wants me to share this with you. I pray that God gives you an encounter with Him. He lets you experience. For people who don't believe in Him, I'm sharing this because I want you to know that this was not real. I don't do drugs. I don't smoke. I wasn't hallucinating. Nothing. I was just taking a nap before I went to go to work. And I experienced God and got to see Jesus Christ clear as day. Amazing. So for anybody who doesn't believe, trust me, for if you ever seen an encounter video or heard people like, yeah, I've encountered God, I've encountered heaven, hell, it is real. I am a living proof to show you that this is real, this is not a joke. I experienced, He touched me. I felt all of this, all of skin and everything. I felt that. And this is my testimony to share that God loves me, God loves everybody, and He's a very noble man. He will God will follow you even though He knows your fate. So even when He knows at the end of the day that you're not going to come towards Him, He will keep coming to you. And it's amazing. And I'm here to just share how my encounter was with Him. So I pray that God has an encounter with all you guys, and I hope you guys stay blessed. This is my Motivational Monday. So I hope you guys are more motivated to go to Him and have an encounter with Him and just talk to Him as much as possible. And you guys just have a good day.